the profile of all research groups. So briefly, the Organization of African Academic Doctors, the Agricultural Research Group, is dedicated to finding evidence-based solutions for Africa's challenges via scientific inquiry that takes into account many dimensions of agriculture. And recently, we've had one of our works on the outlooks of GMOs in Africa. The link is provided there. We recognize the need to plunge headfirst into research on a range of interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary issues in agriculture. We cover various areas: the animal production, crop production, genomics, sustainable agriculture, and much more. Importantly, we welcome partnership with both organizations and individuals working towards the same goals to better address pressing issues in Africa's agriculture via cutting-edge scientific research. So this is just a brief intro to the Agricultural Research Group. If you're interested, please just copy the link. Okay, I'll provide the link in the chat box. Just go there and you can read a whole lot more about who we are, what we do, and where we are going to. Thank you so much. But as I earlier informed you, the Agricultural Research Group is under the main body of the OAAD, the Organization of African Academic Doctors. And privileged here, we have with us our own very own president in the person of Dr. Elijah COD. So to kickstart, we'll get a remark from him, and then we'll proceed with today's event. Thank you very much. And I remain your moderator, Dr. Victoria Onyanga. So Dr. Odi, over to you, sir. Hello, Dr. Odi. Are you there with us?
Yes. Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can hear you now.
Okay. Just activating my link. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure to be part of this meeting today, and thank you for coming over to join us. As we have said again and again, one of the things we focus very much on is that everybody who is with us should have the best of experience. Everybody who is contributing, who is working with us, who is putting effort into the development of themselves or development of the organization as an entity. We want to be able to see everyone gain the best of benefits in what they are doing. And that's why today we have brought up this, knowing the competitive advantage that Africa has, especially with respect to agriculture. We are very pleased that our Agricultural Research Group has been proactive, working together. The leaders of the group, Dr. Kojo and Dr. Uyanga, have been doing a great job, and we are very much pleased that they are driving today's conversation in the space of agriculture, and particularly ALCS, which is kind of telling us how we can make money from our writings, and other details which will be seen as the hour unfolds. So please sit back in, enjoy this conversation, and let's keep driving forward together as we move towards achieving the sustainable development of the continent and ourselves as individuals. Thank you very much once again for coming. Over back to you.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Elijah. We appreciate you. Thank you for making the time to join us for today's event. And I'll still want to say on behalf of everybody, happy birthday. That's a huge one.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We're grateful.
Okay, so that was Dr. Elijah O.D. And as I mentioned, he's the president of the Organization of African Academic Doctors. We can't stop sharing and informing persons about ourselves, who we are, what we do, and where we are going. So the OAAD, Organization of African Academic Doctors Global, is a non-profit organization that is open to PhD holders and PhD students of African descent across the globe. We've been established as a Academic Research Implementation and Development Center. And our vision is to enhance the quality of life through research, technology, and innovation. Just you being a part of this meeting tells us that you know where we are headed and you are interested in our work. So thank you very much. Going on to the highlights of today's events, I would like to introduce a very wonderful colleague and the leadership for the OAD Agricultural Research Group, our coordinator, the person of Dr. Kojo Ahiapa, who will be taking on today's event, who will be presenting today's event for us. And briefly, this is his bio. Kojo is an agribusiness consultant with the Research Desk Consulting Limited and a final year PhD candidate at the Key Lab of Horticultural Plant Biology, College of Horticulture and Forestry Sciences, Huazhong Agricultural University in China. He has a deep understanding of the agribusiness industry, and he is committed to helping farmers and agribusinesses to succeed. With his knowledge and expertise, Kojo is able to provide valuable insights and solutions that can help agribusinesses maximize their potentials. He is a member of various organizations, including the Crop Science Society of America, Professional Writers Alliance, Academic Writers and Artists, and a whole lot more, including the Society for the Advancement of Science in Africa, International Society of Development and Sustainability, Ghana Institute of Horticulturists, and African Colgate Entrepreneurs. He also serves as a reviewer for various publishers, including Taylor and Francis, Springer Nature, John Wiley and Sons, Emerald and Hindawi Publishing. And he is the coordinator of the OAAD Agricultural Research Group. For today's meeting, we're going to have Dr. Kojo, and he will be addressing us on the topic Agribusiness and Money Waste Conference, Financial Independence, Options from Your Research. But the highlight for today's event is we're going to be hearing about the ALCS, how Authors Licensing and Collecting Society can help you monetize your publications. So thank you so much, Dr. Kojo, for bringing up this wonderful meeting where we can come to learn and grow. Please, over to you.
Hi, good afternoon from here, and good evening to those of you who are in China. I can see a couple of my colleagues from the US also joined, so I'm sure it's around morning there, so good morning to you as well. Welcome to the section. So as my colleagues mentioned earlier, today's conversation is going to be an experience sharing, a society I've been part of for the past 1 to 2 years. And then I wanted to text before I make it public and also share with my networks and our colleagues so that they can also take advantage of it, to leverage on it, to see how best we can make some small coins from our publication that we published and put out there. Sometimes they use it without you and I, our notice. This came out as a result of my conversation with a couple of colleagues when I returned to Ghana in 2020 during the peak of the COVID-19 outbreak, because I do publish a lot. Those of you who know me know I have a lot of publication, and I still do a lot of collaborative publishing. I do not publish for promotion because I'm not affiliated with any institution or any university yet. And so I do this in my private capacity as an independent researcher. The question is, as an independent researcher without promotion, how do I benefit from this publication? Apart from my love for scholarship, how do I benefit from it? So I started asking questions from my network. And I remember one of my colleagues from the University of Mines and Technology here in Ghana said, okay, he have an answer to one of the questions that I've been persistently asking him. And that he spoke to one of our networks in the UK who have a lead to an organization that we could actually join irrespective of our location. Once we are researchers, we could sign up, and then based on the IP of our publications, they could actually help us to monetize those publications, so that we can also have some coins to motivate us in what we are doing as researchers. So he shared a link with me. I signed up, and the rest is history. This year, I think that was last month, I never expected it. I was there and I saw an alert on my account. Almost £1,000 was transferred to my account. When I checked, the source was from the ALCS licensing and collecting society that I signed up for in 2021, 2022, thereabout. To be honest with you, after signing up, I never went back to check what exactly the association was doing or what happens to my accounts and all that. And so to a head start, I only uploaded 2 publications because there was a restriction as to the number of years that a publication need to be relevant for it to be uploaded. That was 3 years. And when I checked, I could only count 2 publications that immediately came to mind that I just uploaded onto the platform. And so I was like, yeah, this thing works. If this thing's well, why not share with my other colleagues? So I started speaking with my colleague who shared the link. And Dr. Vicky, I remember asking you if you were able to sign up, but I shared the links with you and a few other colleagues who were close to me. And I recommended we shouldn't share with anybody until we have piloted it, tested it, and to ensure that it works before we share with anybody else. So yes, this is the experience I would like to share with you. And then let's see how best we can help each other so that you can also sign up, those of you who have publication with especially UK publishers, how you can also sign up and also benefit from these. So this is going to be the outline of my sharing. First of all, I'd like to introduce you to what the association is, the society is, that is a author licensing and collecting society, and why they exist, and how they collect your money for you from your publications and from your IP, and how you can join the society in simple steps. And then why you should join. When you are joining, there should be a more beyond you benefiting financially. There should be some sort of more commitment or more convincing reasons that should make you to join. And then lastly, we'd like to see who can join the association, and then we'll take some few Q&A. We'll end the section. So it will be a very brief section, rest assured. So the ALCS stands for Authors Licensing and Collecting Society, which was established in 1977 by authors and writers like you and myself in the UK. And the intention was that there was no common voice for authors and writers like you and myself, especially in the UK and also globally, that try to push for the interest of authors and also try to ensure that authors benefit from their intellectual property. And so this group of authors came together to form the association, got it registered, and then the rest is history. They've been existing for the past, since 1977, like I mentioned earlier, and the intention is to collect money from your works that are being used in the UK and across the world that you may not be aware of. And once this money is collected, a payment is made 2 times a year to your account once you have signed up. The good thing about the ALCS is that once it collects the money, it doesn't require you to pay any money upfront, okay, before you benefit from the money that has been collected based on your intellectual property that is being used in the UK and across the world. And so there's a one-time membership payment of £36, and that is taken from your first tranche of payment. Once that is taken from your first payment, you do not pay again. That is a one-time payment. Once that is done, it's a non-profit membership organization. Let me put it that way. You become a member of the organization. The organization also charges a commission to be able to run their overhead cost and to also to finance their operations as a society in the UK. This is how the ALCS collect money on for you. They collect money from the articles that are published, either in magazines or journals or publishing houses in the UK and around the world. They also collect money based on books that have been published by authors who are members of the society. It could be essays that you've written, it could be poems that you've written. And recently, I also saw that it added blog posts, those of us who publish a lot on blog posts. Okay, if you have any publication and any journals or any websites that is based in the UK, yes, you are entitled to intellectual property benefits from such publication when it is being used by any users. So they follow up and collect the benefit from the IP based on the content that is being circulated, that is being reused. So essentially, money is being collected from secondary uses of your intellectual property, of your publication work. We've also added a visual contribution. Some people are into photojournalism, put it this way, photojournalism, or those of you who do a lot of sketching and do a lot of animations and images. If you do that, yes, you're entitled to IP, because a lot of media houses and other users, stakeholders who see the potential in your work and make secondary use of it. But how they make payment, because they have to pay before they use these materials. But unfortunately, this money doesn't get to you. So the ALCS comes in to follow up and collect money based on the secondary use of such materials and pay it back to you as the originator of the work. Like I mentioned earlier, if you have also published in any website in the UK or blogs in the UK, okay, you have made any contribution to it, once you are able to provide details of that, the ALCS will follow up and collect monies based on the secondary uses of such content and transfer that money into your account. Now, let's see how you can join the ALCS. So it's a lifetime membership, and the lifetime membership costs £36. And when I was joining, I didn't pay because there was an option for them to deduct this lifetime membership of £36 from your first payments once they've done the collecting for you. And so, yes, they collected the money. I earned almost £1,000. That is from the 2 publications I uploaded, and they deducted the £36, and then took off the commission. The commission currently stands at 10%, so they take 10% from whatever is collected to be able to finance the internal operations and running of the association. If, for instance, you are in the UK and you're a member of these associations, Society of Authors, Writers Guild of Britain, the National Union of Journalists, British Association of Journalists, Chartered Institute of Journalists, and other associations, okay, they have an institutional membership with ALCS. And so you do not need to pay for the lifetime membership of 36 because they pay this on behalf of their members. Okay, so if you're a member of these organizations already, you are not required to pay the £36 that is required for non-members who are now trying to become members. You can join the society in 3 simple ways. You can join either via their websites, I provided a link here, okay, alcs.co.uk, and then you follow the instructions to join in simple steps and upload your publications, upload the payment, your payment preferences, and then you sign up. As part of the registration to become a member, the system also asks you to tell us about the works you've published. Like I mentioned, works that have been published. But let me mention that the works that is being required here are works that have been published with UK publishers. UK publishers, I think most of us have been publishing with some of them, but we do not know that they are based in the UK. And somebody may ask, why the UK? Because UK is what legally, okay, they have authority over to be able to collect secondary use, collect money based on secondary uses of your intellectual property. However, the society also partners with about 55 other collecting society across the group. And then any work that is emanating from the UK publishers, okay, in respective regions across the world, they also collect monies based on the secondary use of such intellectual property and aggregate that money and send it back to the authors. So you'll be required to provide information about your work, about a brief bio about you, an identity to be able to track who you are and what you do and your contribution to scholarship. And then you'll be asked to provide a payment preference. When I say a payment preference, either could be a bank account or it could be a Visa account, you have a MasterCard account, whichever account that you want to use, and indicate that. And when the money is collected, they will need not to contact you to looking for how to remit the money to you, but they'll use the preference that you have provided to remit the money into your account directly. Now, let's look at why you should join the ALCS. like I mentioned earlier in the introduction, you and I publish a lot, and I know most of our colleagues here in OAD and other professional research association that I'm a member of. We publish a lot, almost on a monthly basis. Some of us publish like 2 or 3 times, even more papers. But unfortunately, our publication and promoting for citation, that is it. Sometimes we even pay huge sums of money to get the work published. But the question is, how do you also benefit from your intellectual property, from the secondary uses of your intellectual property? We do not care, we do not follow up, all because we are less aware of how these can be monetized. And so that is where ALCS comes in, okay, to tell us that, hey, immediately after you have published, okay, there's more to it than you just publishing. You can actually monetize the secondary uses of your intellectual property. And that is exactly what ALCS does for you and I who become members today or even in the next few days. So they pay you money that it collects from your works that are used in the UK and across the world. They also collect royalties that are due to works from the UK, and that is being also used across the world. And this money that is being matched, when you receive from the various uses or institutional uses. Remember that most libraries across the world sign up, okay, to most of these publishing houses and journals, and even these repository academic indexing databases. It is you and mine and your work, our intellectual property, our published works that has been distributed in these databases. How do you make money out of it? Because the library do not sign up for free. They don't do that on a pro bono basis. They pay subscription, sometimes annual subscription, and even by yearly subscription to that amount. And all these publications, all these monies goes to the publishers, but it doesn't go back to the author. None of it goes back to the author. So what ALCS does is to follow up to ensure that a portion of that money that is being collected, okay, are remitted to you to incentivize you for your intellectual property. Payment is made 2 times a year, like I mentioned before, but this depends on the type of work you have. If we're in the academic space, yes, you'll be entitled to the 2 times payment depending on the number of work you upload onto their platform. And then they also charge 10% commission, like I mentioned, on money that are due you that you have collected for various secondary uses of your work. Who can join ALCS? Yes, so if you have ever written anything or you have ever produced any content that has been published or broadcasted in the UK or published by UK publishers, yes, you can join ALCS. Let me say that ALCS is not the only author collecting society in the UK. There are others, but this is the most multidisciplinary society I've seen, because there are others that have been introduced to, but they were restricted to journalists, to certain specific disciplines, but this one comprises of all authors and writers, okay? And so your work could be fiction, it could non-fiction, it could be journal papers, it could be in blogs, like we noted earlier. And let me address this. So somebody may ask, what about those of us who are not based in the UK, but we are still authors like you and myself? Yes. So ALCS doesn't necessarily require you to reside in the UK to be a resident, in the UK before you can sign up. You can sign up, okay, once your work is published in any of the UK publishers. I, for instance, publish a lot with Taylor & Francis, John Wiley & Sons, Cambridge Publishing, and also Oxford Academics. Okay, so if you have any papers with these publishing houses, they are based in the UK, they are legally registered in the UK, you can join the association, and then ALCS follow up to collect the uses, collect monies based on the secondary uses of your intellectual property and remit that into your account. So how is ALCS run? So ALCS is run by authors and writers. What happens is that before you sign up, there are terms and conditions they will ask you to subscribe to and agree to. And these are the 2 major documents, that you have to read. That is if you want. In fact, I have read only the first one. I have not even read the second one. But notwithstanding, it doesn't mean that if you have not read a document, you are not entitled to it. You can actually access this document on the website I've provided here. The first document is the memorandum. Okay, the memorandum is the agreement between you and ALCS. You understand how it works, their modus operandi, and you sign up to an articles of association, how to become a legal member of the association, and your responsibilities and rights. Okay, once you are able to do this, yes, ALCS will admit you into the association, whether you have money to pay now or not. Once you have worked, you have uploaded, you don't need to pay the £36 upfront. That to be deducted from your first payment once the collecting is done based on your intellectual property. So you'll be also asked to sign. That is especially for those of you who prefer to register using the PDF document or using the Word document. You have to fill the forms and all that. But if you do this online virtually, you could actually sign this digitally without you necessarily have to sign physically and email it to them. You also have an option to withdraw from the society at any time, and you can do this by emailing it to them. The email is provided on their website. We'll get to know in a bit. Yes, so that is a bit about ALCS. And let me take us to the website briefly. Okay.
Novels, I write short stories. I've written a memoir.
So this is a short video. How do you come yes.
I am a children's writer.
A comedy writer.
Well, I write novels. I write short stories. I've written a memoir.
I write for the most difficult market of all. I write for children. ALCS stands for Authors Licensing and Collecting Society.
They collect money for us and they look after our rights. So basically, they go out there and they collect money for rights on our work that are being used, but that we might not even know about, and we certainly wouldn't profit from without ALCS.
ALCS is unique because it really works for writers. Writers in our careers, we have to work with all sorts of organizations, publishers, TV companies, universities, newspapers, magazines. They're great people, but it's their commercial interest to get the best deal with us, which means they want to get us to do work for them for less than we might like. ALCS protects us, lobbies for us. It gathers money that we might not have known about anyway, all of which is a fantastic service. It is like a shield and a defense and a great community that really helps writers.
The best way to describe the ALCS is a godsend to writers. It's a membership society, and it collects money on behalf of writers, it protects their creativity, and it actually campaigns for their rights, which is great. Money comes from all over the world, but mainly from secondary uses.
Vary from a few pounds to literally tens of thousands of pounds. It really depends on your work. But that money comes in pretty much twice a year, so it all adds up.
Well, back in 1977, it was started by writers, and it's still run by writers even today.
It's for everyone who writes for money. So my writer friends all belong, but it's not just that. I was talking about explaining the ALCS the other day to my bank manager, and she said, "Oh, but my neighbor is a dentist and he's written a dental textbook. Do you think he should belong?" I said, "Of course he should belong. Anyone who writes for money should join ALCS."
Well, I've got a friend who I've been nagging for years. She's a journalist and a writer and a sub-editor. And I've been saying, look, you've got to join. You've got to join. And I got a text from her the other day to say, right, I joined and I'm an idiot because I've got an incredible amount of money and I'm over the moon. I'm overjoyed. So thank you.
Well, there isn't a catch. writers are very suspicious people. And I think, you know, we trust ALCS because they were started by writers and they're still led by writers.
ALCS does what it says on the tin. There was a great creator, a guy called Jim Henson, who created the Muppets. And on the wall of his studio, he had a phrase in big letters: simple is good. That's ALCS. It collects money the writers are owed, and it makes sure it gets to them. I can't see what the problem with that is.
I heard about ALCS through a fellow author, Tony Bradman, who told me about money that I was entitled to, that I didn't even know that I was entitled to, which is fantastic.
I heard from a friend of a friend who came up to me and said, look, I've got £500 for you. Would you like it? And I joined pretty much straight away. It's often the best kept secret in writing. You're bound to know a member, you just don't realise it. We're everywhere. Is that all right? Too much? That's a bit sinister. We're following you.
Okay, so that is a summary of the section, the conversation we have had. I would like us to enter into a quick Q&A. Let's try and answer some few questions, and then we can demonstrate to you how you can join live using one of our colleagues' work. But before I start taking your live question, I can see some few questions and comments in the chats box. Someone said, I think that was Mark Daniels. Would you like to know if articles published with Elsevier or Science Direct publishers could be linked? No, unfortunately, Elsevier is a Netherlands publisher. It's a Dutch publisher. It's not registered in the UK unless the journal from Elsevier is registered in the UK, and in that case, under the brands of Elsevier, yes, that's the ALCS can follow up and collect monies for the use of your intellectual property. Audio glitches. Oh, sorry. Did anybody face same issue? Was the audio clear for all of us? If it wasn't clear, we could just replay the video again because it summarizes everything I was sharing with you. Other than that, yes, please unmute your mic and ask your questions. Yes, Ebenezer, that's a very good question. So irrespective of your position on the published work, yes, once you intellectually contributed to the work as a co-author, yes, you benefit. So all the authors who are on the list of the published article will benefit, irrespective of your position on the published work. Let me also make this disclaimer. I am not officially speaking on behalf of ALCS. I'm a member and I'm just sharing my experience. I've tested it and it worked. And so I'm just sharing my experience. So please let me make this disclaimer very clearly. And secondly, there are other institutions, as many institutions actually across the group that will sign an employment agreement with you who are lecturers or scholars or researchers. And then you cede your intellectual property to the institution because they fund your research. And in communicating your research findings, they fund that. In that case, unfortunately, you cannot be a member of ALCS. Even if you're a member, you cannot claim the copyright. The copyright rather go to the institution. So please take note of that. Any other question? Yes, so you don't necessarily have to wait for you to have a publication with any UK publisher before you sign up. If I were you, I'll sign up and follow up with the activities so that once I get any paper published with any of these UK publishers, I could just upload. Yes, so you can sign up. They will not be required you to make any payment until the first payment is made into your account, and then they'll deduct that from source. No, there's no qualification. Once you're a writer, you're an author, you are qualified. Okay? It's not based on academic eligibility, academic qualification. Once you're an author, you can even have a secondary education. You're an author. It's authors. It's a professional association. Okay, so there's no qualification. There's no restriction on qualification as to who's to join. Okay, maybe we can demonstrate. If there's nobody have a live question, we can demonstrate to you how you can join. I'll try and use Vicky, do you want me to re-share the video? I'm just seeing your message. Hi, Vicky. Okay, so this is a publication by my colleague, Victoria. We will use this to demonstrate to you how you can join. So this is the title. Let me get the ISN number. Please a minute. Let me get an information from the journal, and then we can use that. So in joining, please get a title of your manuscript or title of your published article. Just a title, and then get the ISS number. The IS number stands for International Standard Serial Number. This is an ID that you use to track, okay, periodicals or published work, okay, from publishers. So you can either go for the print, normally the print or the online version. Some journals have both the online version and the published version of the ISSN. So we are going to use a title by Victoria. The title of the article is, let me get a title of the article first. Okay, so this is the title. Now let me project for you to see what I'm doing. So you visit the ALCS website. So this is her article. And then we visit this website. So this is about the website of the Authors Licensing and Collecting Society, ALCS. But you know, the good thing about this is that most of us in Africa, especially who are researchers and lecturers or professors or teachers, professional teachers and authors, we are not affiliated with any institution. Even if we are affiliated with this institution, they do not fund our intellectual property. They do not fund our work. So the intellectual property belongs to you and I. So that is where I see to be an opportunity for most of our members here, because you literally fund your research from your pocket money, from the money, your monthly salary that you receive. So I think it's a good opportunity to explore so that you see how best you can reduce the financial burden on your pocket and funding your own research, whilst knowing that at least they'll be paying some fractions of that amount that you spent or invest in producing your publications. So yes, if you're a researcher in Africa, I think this is a good opportunity for you to explore. So this is the website. And then you click or you go to how to join. You go how to join here, and then you click on register and then become a member. So a lifetime members, your ALCS cost £36, like I mentioned. So first of all, you select your title. Victoria is a doc. So we select, please You see my screen. We are demonstrating to you how you can join using their website. It's the easiest. That is how I joined. And that is how most of my colleagues who are benefiting now also joined. Please let me hear your voice. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so the first name here is Victoria. The middle name is Anthony. And the surname is Oyanga. Vicky, I hope I got the name right. Hope I didn't crucify your name. Please, can you do us a favor? Give us your date of birth, because you will continue from there. I will leave it and then I will share the link with you for you to continue from there once we are done with the registration. Or we can put a fictitious date of birth for you. Definitely not now. Let's say you're born in 1982.
We can't hear the presenter again.
But can you see what I'm doing?
Sure.
Okay, so I was saying that on this third column, the registration form is for request for the type of work you would like to upload once you registered. Okay, so my colleague Victoria is academic, so her work is between books and journals. But here we are uploading one of her journal articles. So we click on the second one, we select the second option, which is magazines and journals. And then the title of the article, if we just copy and paste or we type it out, publication title, I think it's a research article. Okay, research article. And then the ISX number that I mentioned to you, please make sure you note that before you start filling the forms. Okay, so I know her ISX number. The ISX number is for the journals, not for the publication itself, so that they can use that to track whether your work is truly published in that journal or not. So we paste it here. Okay. 8-digit is not 8-digit. Let me try this. Okay. I think I copied the wrong number, so let me get the right one. Okay, we are good to go. Okay. All right. And then year of publication, I think that was in 2023. Estimated word counts. Unfortunately, I think Vicky is not here, so I will just put anything there, maybe 10,000 word count. Okay. Writing name, Victoria Onyanga. Okay, so you see automatically once the article and you put those details, it will automatically pop up in the dashboard. And then you can add more articles or you move on to the next, more works or you move on to the next. Check the form about, find out what went wrong, which one is. So maybe Victoria doesn't own copyright to the work. Okay. Next. So you agree to these, and then you finish up. Okay, so this is how to sign up. Because I'm not the one, there are certain information I think Victoria will need to provide herself. I have signed up, so I cannot use my particulars again to sign up. So this is how to sign up. So please try signing up. If you have a difficulty, you can reach out to us. It will help you to sign up. Essentially, that is all you need to do to become a member of the ALCS and start benefiting from the revenue that are collected on your intellectual property. Okay, so I'll pause here, and then if there are further questions, we will respond to them. Thank you. Sorry, Dr. Sam, still no audio?
We can hear you now. Yeah, it's okay now, fine.
I'm sorry about that. Network here is not stable.
Yeah, we're hearing you now.
Any questions? Anybody have questions to ask on this before we bring the curtains down? So also exploring other society in different regions, like one in the US, there's another one in the Netherlands, there's another one in Germany that I'm exploring. One, it works. Yes, I will share those experiences also with you. Those of you who are independent researchers like myself would like to take advantage of this society. And I think it's high time you and I will start to thinking about our continent. Can we have something similar on our continent to protect the intellectual property of authors and researchers like you and myself? So this is a challenge to all of us, a question to all of us to ponder over. and also to OAD as an organization, if we could try replicating something similar, there's no harm in copying. But then what happens is what you do with a copying after you have copied. So I don't think there's a need for us to reinvent the wheel. Let's see how best we can also protect African authors and writers on our continent, how we can also establish an association or society like this that will protect the intellectual property of authors and writers like yourself and myself. Yes, any questions? Any comments?
Hello, Dr. Kojo.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you very much for the presentation and the explanations given. When I see things like, or when I hear things like this, I just wonder why everybody is not here. Because I am convinced that not everybody knows about this. Very few people know about this. And the same goes for many other things in life. And some of this important information could be picked almost casually. Like I had no idea of the quality of or the nature of conversation that we were coming to engage in. So I'm really excited with this, and I want to request to ask if you have, because it's all about intentionality.
Exactly.
Yes. So do you have a list of the UK publishers? And when you say publishers, do you mean the journals or the publishing houses? Do you have a list of them or some kind of guidance on how people can get to them? Of course, it's good that the session is being recorded. Hopefully, we're going to circulate it and encourage people to participate. And just as you mentioned, as an organization, this is something we value, and we've talked again and again about the need to support our people in their pursuit of financial independence. This is definitely something we can do. We can begin to explore the frameworks available on the continent and elsewhere, and see how we can guide our people to benefit from it, or also set up similar structures that can help us go after some of these publishers, the publishing houses, journals, or whatever entity that's responsible, that should be responsible for assessing funds associated with second layer usage of our works. Yeah, so please, over to you to say something about this. I'm doing my best now to see how I can mobilize more people to come in here to enjoy and hopefully benefit from this.
Okay, thank you very much, our president, for that. Yes, so I do not immediately have a list of all the UK publishers, but I can collate that and share with our members after this meeting. When I talk of UK publishers, I'm not only referring to the, there are some publishers, for instance, they only have one journal or one publishing outlet. And so they are both a journal and a publisher. So I'm using that interchangeably. So the publishers here refer to the publishers of journal articles or any intellectual property of kind, or any content of any form. It could be novels, it could be books, textbooks, it could be journal articles. Yes, so I use that generic term to refer to, yes, organizations that are responsible for that. And some of these publishers like Taylor & Francis have a portfolio of journals under their brand. John Williams & Sons have portfolio of journals under their brand. Some of these journals are actually publishers because they are run by professional associations, like Agronomy Journal, for instance, which have recently been affiliated with John Williams & Sons. It's owned by the American Society of Agronomy, which I'm a member of. Okay, so that is a publisher at the same time a journal. So I use that interchangeably to refer to the nature of the publishers within the UK. But once it is within the UK, yes, ALCS have the right, the legal right to go after them to ensure that copyright revenues is paid on the uses of your intellectual property and remit that into your account. So yes, I can put something together and share. But I can also mention few of them offhand. Like I mentioned before, Taylor and Francis is one of them. John William Sams is also one of the leading publishers. Oxford Academics is also one of them, and then Cambridge Publishers. These are the notable publishers in the UK that I'm aware of, and most of them have had publications with them. I will take my time and put a list together of all the UK publishers and share with our community. Thank you.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And then you also mentioned blogs. The blogs you talked about, because blogs sometimes are global in nature. Anybody from anywhere can write blogs or have a website where they do blogs. I am sorry if I didn't capture that well. Please, if you could elaborate a little. And you talked about content creators. Could that include people who create content on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on things of that nature? Please, what do you say to that?
Okay, that's a very good question. Thank you very much, President, for that. So at the moment, ALCS is able to track content that are published as blogs on websites that are registered in the US. Okay, and then they are also able to track works that are published in the form of a journal article. And for instance, you publish with the BBC, you have an article published with the BBC. They'll track whoever is using that content, and then they can follow up to collect monies that are due based on the secondary use of that content or that intellectual property that we have shared with the BBC, for instance. So that is the form, the two forms at the moment ALCS is able to track their uses and be able to ensure that that is monetized and benefits the authors. With social media, I think that is the secondary phase they are still looking at. But you know, in most times, what is shared on social media most of the time comes from blogs that are published on a website. And so, yes, so it's at the moment, they don't have a mechanism to monetize how your intellectual property is being used on social media.
Okay. And when you talk about websites registered in the US, do you mean when your host is registered in the US, or the host of the website, or the the hosting company? Is that what you mean?
No, I mean the organization is registered in the UK, like the BBC, for instance. It's a UK organization registered in the UK. So any interview you grant them that is published on their website, yes, it's ALCS can follow up on the secondary use of such content and remit benefits of the uses of such content to you as an author. So not necessarily posting, but your brand, the brand have to be legally registered in the UK.
Okay. I see. Okay, that's great. Let me call BBC to interview me. Yeah. Okay. That's great. So I think those would be the questions I would have for now.
Okay. I would like to have this with you before you go. There was a suggestion on the platform in the chat box that I think is very, very important. Maybe OAD need to think through this. In Africa, we have two IP organizations, the ARIPO for the English-speaking countries and also OIP for the French-speaking countries. Is there a way OAD could initiate conversation with them as to how we could replicate something similar in this regard to protect authors and writers in Africa? It could be a conversation OAD could initiate with any of these organizations. I happen to have a very good relationship with both organizations. And so when it comes to maybe getting people or or any of the executives on board to start this conversation, yes, some of us can initiate that so that we can start some conversation in that regard. African writers need to be protected and also to ensure that they benefit from their copyright. We do not take copyright or IP in our environment here that seriously. And I think information is key. Once we get to know this information that this is happening and it's already working in other parts of the world, ALCS has been existing since 1977. How many years now? Over 50 years, and they are still relevant. So it's better late than never. So to your humble self and to also to the ESCO, maybe we need to escalate this conversation further.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll pass the information to the ESCO and the think tank to work around that, and then we'll be able to get back to you and other colleagues who may be able to drive that process, and we can push forward the conversation beyond that point.
Okay. Yeah. Beyond that, I also think that as intellectual property producers or generators, content creators, almost all of us are content creators. Our understanding of copyright or IP is very weak. And so a lot of institutions and organizations take advantage of us. I grant a lot of interviews to the local media here in Ghana, and most of the time I see that my interview that is granted, even the one I'm requested to write a detailed article on that for publication on their website, another publishing house take that same content, just take out my name and publish it in their name without cost to the IP. So if there's a way they could also more or less take some sort of steps to sensitize our membership on these, I can actually bring the director of our copyright office here in Ghana to speak to us and see how to help us to understand how best to protect our copyright and to ensure that we benefit from our copyright on these. Most of us have very weak understanding of IP as authors.
Beautiful, beautiful. We'll also pass that to the EXCO. Maybe I would request you can send an email to the president's email, address.
Okay.
And we'll pick it up from there and discuss and see how implementation can happen. Because it's always beautiful to pursue implementation after all these conversations. Yeah. Great.
There's a question in the chat board. Uchena, do you pay tax on the, you mean tax? Yes, so tax is paid, but the tax is deducted from source. You don't need to pay ALCS, pay the withholding tax or the income tax that is relevant to the UK and also to your country. So you don't need to pay. ALCS takes care of all these. They pay that and they deduct that from the money that is due you. Okay, thank you. Any other questions, any other contribution? Dr. Sam?
So I just want to say something. Thank you, Doctor, for that presentation. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, actually, why I asked the question about the task is to actually reinforce what you said about Africa coming together to see what to do to collect also the revenue for African publishers.
Yeah.
Because yes, ALCS collect this money and they pay tax to the UK government. Meanwhile, this work is published by Africans. So it's just to like reinforce that, to see, so that people will know exactly why there is a need to that organization for Africa, because the task will also come to the continent. Thank you.
Exactly. So in my case, I realized that my bank charges a withholding tax. So ALCS pay that withholding tax from source. So which I do not have to pay directly from my account. They pay that to the bank because the bank is located, the bank account that I use is located here in Ghana. So I also think that it doesn't only benefit the UK government, but it also benefits the recipient institution in your country as well, because they pay the tax that is due to the region. So ALCS pay that pay that alongside the money that is remitted to you. Yes, so, but then your point is well taken. Yes, there's a need for us to also to champion our own collecting society that will ensure that money that are due to authors because of our nationality, let me put it that way, in association with our countries and the origin of these works, our government can also benefit and our environment can also benefit from little taxes that will be collected on these payments. The registration, you don't need to attach a bank card. What you need to do is to just provide your account details. So your account details are the name of the full name of the account holder, the bank and the location of the bank, and then the bank account. That is all. You don't need to even provide password or anything of that. Okay. So it's a bit very secured and very confidential. And what type of card is required? How does the money? Ideally, if you have a MasterCard or Visa card, I think that is okay. You should be able to receive that. I used my local savings account and I was able to receive the money. So you don't necessarily need to have any sophisticated foreign accounts or an offshore account to be able to receive money into your account.
Yeah, please, Dr. Kojo, you said you received close to £1,000.
Yes.
But Ghana does not use pounds. How does the transaction?
So the money came in the CD equivalent, in the local currency equivalent.
Okay.
If I was using the foreign account, then in that case, it will be intact in pounds. So they'll pay the money to you using the prevailing exchange rate in your local currency.
Okay. That's nice. That's nice.
Dr. Omar, is it Dr. Omar? Dr. Sola? Dr. Omar, are you here? My very good friend from the US. Doc, if you are here, let's hear your voice. Okay. So I'm done. Holder, no questions. Dr. Holder, no questions. I can see Dr. Siba, Ebenezer, Abdullahi. Thank you so much for joining. I saw Dr. Idol from Sudan. Is he still here with us? Thank you for joining us. So the team will share the recordings with you. I think we are running up. So I'm done with all questions, with all comments from my end. If you have any last questions, let's address them before we'll bring the curtains down on this. Thank you. Hello?
Hello, brother.
All right. Thank you very much. I think there are no questions, so I'm sure we'll have to bring the curtains down on this. Dr. Elijah, would you like us to take a selfie? I think Holder's mic is off.
Yeah, absolutely, we should take.
Okay, so please, let's put on our cameras. Let's put on our cameras. We'll take a brief photo and then we'll call it a day, a night for those of you who are in China. Hey, you people don't want to show your face.
Yes, so anybody who is disposed to open their cameras, please feel free to open up. And also would like to know if there's anybody that's here that is not yet on any of the OAD main groups. Yeah. Afri, I'm happy to see you. It's been a long time. Great, good to see you. Yeah, so if you're disposed to open your camera, please feel free to do so. And as I said, if there's anybody who is not yet on the OAD platform, any of the groups, please feel free to let us know so we could help you come on board. The people we are referring to can only be PhD holders or PhD students of African descent. If you're African and you're a PhD holder, or okay, Whitney, Zodan, please, your nationality. Anyway, I can give you my contact and we can connect. Please, what's your nationality? Are you African? Okay, from Benin, beautiful. Yeah, so, and a PhD holder or PhD student? Uchenna, okay, Uchenna, Ijoma, please, are you PhD? Chuku Jeku? Okay, Whitney is PhD student. Uchenna, okay, PhD candidate, okay, great. Do you use WeChat? I can give you my, anyway, whether you use WeChat, I can give you my phone number. My phone number is the same as my WeChat. So I can add you to 277-6837. So this is my phone number. If you use WeChat, you can, okay, a PhD holder, Ijoma. Ijoma, please, do you use WeChat? If you use WeChat, you can.
PhD on what?
Sorry?
This is Ijoma. I can't hear you well.
Oh, please, others hear me. Am I still audible?
No, I can hear you.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm asking, do you use WeChat? WeChat?
No.
Okay. Anyway, you can, the phone number I sent is also for my WhatsApp. You add +86, let me add that. We can connect on WhatsApp and then I'll guide you further on how to connect more effectively. And for those who use WeChat, please, you can use that number also to find me, or you use this WeChat ID, Linking Up for Growth. You can use that to connect with me on WeChat, and I'll be able to get you into the OAD group.
Okay, and then now in WeChat user, we also have a Telegram group and also a Telegram channel. We have Facebook group as well. We also have a LinkedIn group as well. So yes, so those of them who are not using WeChat, remember to share those links with them to join us.
Absolutely, I will. Thank you so much. Yeah. So let's link up and bring you into the family. We'll see what more we can do. Okay. Sorry, it's like we kept some people who left their cameras open for a long time, but we can now get back to opening the cameras and take the shots, and we will be gone. Sorry, we hadn't taken it. Okay. Okay, cameras opening. Yeah, Dr. Sam, please kindly open again if you're still able. Yeah, Afriya, thank you. Oh, thank you, Kemi. Thank you, Sharon. How are you doing? Great.
Doing well, thank you so much, and happy birthday.
Thank you very much. Excited. Thank you.
The birthday boy in the house.
Yeah, thank you very much. Really grateful. Yusuf, nice to see you. Thank you for coming on. Thank you. Yes. Oh, Gideon, thank you. Good to know you're here. Yeah. Okay, I just took one shot and I think that covered all of us. We'll share that. Yeah, we'll share that on the group.
Take it again.
Okay, I can take another one. And yeah, so if you are not smiling, you may consider doing so now. Second opportunity. Okay, so I'm taking it, just about taking the capture. Yeah, great. Perfect. Thank you so much, OAD members and new ones who are coming in. It's always a joy to be with us. Seeing you gives us confidence, and we know we can do all things when we set out to do it. Really grateful to have you on board. And let's keep pushing forward. Thank you so much once again, Dr. Kojo, for the very insightful conversation today. And please take note that our other events are coming up shortly within the, on 22nd, we have another event, a very important one, which has already begun to circulate. And also on 23rd. 23rd is our family meeting. Please prepare yourself. The OAD family meeting is coming up on the 23rd, and we're going to enjoy a time together again. And just do have a wonderful, wonderful time. We'll share the photo on the group, and you may be able to pick it up from there, and we'll move forward with that. Really grateful. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, Kojo, please back to you.
Sure. So I'm done. That is all from my end. Thank you very much. So we look forward to seeing you in our next section. However, individual level, if you have difficulty in signing up, you can feel free to reach out to me. I think my contact details are in the slides. Vicky shared the slides on our platform, so you can have access to them. You can reach out to me for me to help you out. I'll be willing to help you. So let's go and make some good money from our research articles. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Yes, we're going to put the recording on our YouTube channel, and we'll make that available also for other people who may be interested. Thank you so much. Yeah. Right. So with that, we'll